We're at NRAAM 2024. I found Boss Man here. If you didn't know, ARFCOM and us, we're kind of sister companies.
We are.
With Brownell's. Brownell's empowered us to be able to go and provide really cool stuff like this to you guys. So, conversely, I'm able to threaten to quit if he doesn't come here and talk to me. So I got him here. We're going to answer a couple questions for you guys and then address some stuff from the company.
Awesome.
What is the first thing going on with, it's I believe our 85th anniversary as Brownell's. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so back in 1939, my grandpa started the business, so we are 85 years old in June this year. So it's a big celebration, big milestone.
Yeah.
Third generation, still working hard at it. Still serving that gunsmith and that home do-it-yourself builder and repair person. So we're rocking that pretty hard right now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So what's in store, I guess, for the people going to Brownell's, and obviously they're going to brownells.com.
Yeah.
What is new for them and part of that celebration?
So we've been investing over the last year, we've been reinvesting a lot in our technology. We recognize that in order to provide a frictionless experience for end users, anybody who's searching on our site, trying to find something to build that perfect firearm or repair parts for that job at the gun shop.
Sure.
Our website needed to improve, so we've been spending a lot of time and energy making sure it's the right tool set now. It's live. Well, like technology, today may mean tomorrow it's going to be ready.
Today might mean tomorrow.
Yeah, so reinvestment in a lot of the gunsmithing parts and tools. Some fan favorites are screwdriver set, the Magnatip. That's a classic. We kind of want to get back to what I'm calling owning the bench. That's that gun bench that everybody does their work on. It's that space we all go to, and when we run away from the pressures of reality, we get into our space, we're building, we're fixing. We want to own that space and bring back some of the classic tools that make the job easy, and we're there now. So we're bringing stuff back. We got a rebrand. We've got a lot of good stuff launching within the next really handful of days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about seeing, because I literally had this where I had a strip screw on the top of my slide. Yeah. And I went to Amazon because I was like, what's the easy, convenient thing to go do? And literally broke my extractor bit off of my slide. And now it's in there, and I was like, cool. Now this is a 5-month project as opposed to a 2-month.
Yeah,
so
what do I do now?
Yeah, I'm glad to see a lot of that stuff and then bringing that onus back to the individual and being able to empower the individual.
Yeah, gosh, 39 years ago it was, my grandpa, everybody was, 39 years, remember this was right around World War II, so everybody knew how to fix a firearm in the field. They did it for coming out of military service, so everybody was using that tool that they went hunting with or competitive shot with. They knew how to do it. So everybody was kind of that fixing person. Today that's a little bit limited crew, so we've also got a lot of intelligence and technology and tech on how to fix and repair, how to tear down. Another fan favorite is schematics, where those are back, and it's super cool the way our team's really kind of redone it to make it super modern and intuitive. So, and we've got a patent on that, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool technology. It's ready to go.
So I know that as part of that 85th anniversary, there is a couple of events going on that you can actually have the public go out and meet, I guess, Brownell's proper. What do you guys have going on for that?
So we got GunCon coming, man. There's some great people coming. Watch it. Catch all the content that's coming out of that. There's some really good creators coming.
Awesome.
We got a lot of good vendors coming as well to kind of say, here's a mini show.
Yeah.
And you
in case
get
you're not in
on.
Dallas.
Yeah, right. If you can't make here, it's going to be pretty awesome. And there's it's the second year, I think, second or third year we've done it. And it's been a great engagement with a lot of the people that are influencing our industry. We want to give back to them, and we've always felt that when you have a really robust and strong content creators, people carrying that story, either it be a Second Amendment message or a do-it-yourself message, or here's a new cool thing, or just keeping the engagement going, you got a strong industry. So we support our content creators, no matter where they are in their career arc, or if they're publications or online, they're the ones that keep the industry going. So we really support them.
Yeah, I think they recruit the next generation of gun owners that, again, won't be just helpless and lost. They'll have the tools and they'll have the places that they can go
yourself,
buy.
man.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm young, I guess, in Brownell's years, in my 30s, I guess, but it's definitely part of that. The next thing is, and I challenged you this when we were at SHOT, and I sat there and talked about advocacy, and there was a lot of holes in advocacy. There was a lot of litigation happening at the time. There's a lot of stuff going on. What have you guys seen, or what have you guys done in the past couple of months to try to work on that?
My God, there's a lot of things we do on 2A advocacy. It's the individual's right to own and build and repair. It's a big one under attack right now. And it's kind of shocking that it's come down to this, where this has been the law of the land, I mean, since the Constitution, that an individual had the right to repair and fix and build a firearm. That's under attack right now from really insidious thoughts on on just constricting who can be a gunsmith.
Yeah.
Right now, it's if you're in the business, which means you do one transaction where you're selling a gun at a gun show.
Oh, now you're a dealer. Yeah,
you're a dealer.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of red tape, but and God bless you guys that are dealers. It's difficult, and we all know it.
Yeah.
To get to that process, and you are really opening yourself to a lot of regulations.
Yep.
And we all want to do the right thing, but when ATF comes in and changes and pivots the laws so quickly, it starts to challenge societal's long-held beliefs in that you own a firearm, you can repair that firearm. If you want to, those peer-to-peer transactions they're still legal.
Yeah.
Now they're just being a lot of pressure, and the ATF is putting a heavy boot on it.
That's awesome. I'm glad.
So we're fighting that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that like y'all have a lot more means than we do as the individual. I'm one vote, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are a collection of votes, but also like legal threat of like if you're going to threaten my company and my company's way to provide stuff,
yeah.
I can threaten you back with lawsuits. Y'all are in a very unique position to give back. And I like seeing you guys. 80% Arms just recently.
80%. Yep.
That they were talking about like, hey, I should be able to manufacture this. If I should have access to the tools and I have access to the means, I should be able to manufacture this for myself. And I think that's a big deal. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that home gunsmith, we all start there on our journey on a gunsmithing. We all start doing that work at home. It's a hobby, it's a passion, and it's something that we're going to defend.
We were just recently at another booth, and they were talking about Form 4s getting like ridiculously short. And so like I think part of it, and I'm glad that you guys are working on integration as far as the website and getting the website to be a little bit more frictionless. And you can spend less time clicking and more time shooting, which would be ideal. Do you have anything on that front as far as like what you guys are trying to do?
Yeah, so we're working with, so on the technology side, there's some great partners out there that we're integrating. The battle has always been, and so working with American Suppressor Association, ASA, they're doing a great job, and Silencer, there's a lot of good companies that have been working hand in hand with the regulatory bodies to speed that up. And it's almost, not quite, almost point of sale type of transaction speeds now.
That's for people that have ever bought a can is like bonkers.
Oh man, it went from like 9, 12 months, maybe 18 months, down to 4 or 5 days, and it's fantastic.
I've seen a handful that have been 24 hours.
Yeah.
Almost same day, and that's bonkers,
So you've got those types of, we all just want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And we know that when you're working with NFA, you better cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and you better have the right documents, and we're not if that's the law of the land, we're going to follow it.
Sure.
But we want to make sure that the service is on the other side, so that's what we've been fighting for.
That's awesome.
So trying to clear that hurdle, and I think we're pretty close on that. I've always liked the Hearing Protection Act, which takes them off because that's
on Texas. Let's go.
No kidding, right? The HBA was. It's one of those. I mean, it's one of the safety items that have been rejected. It just blows my mind that here's a safety item for your firearm that protects your hearing. And nope, we don't want to make it that easy.
I want to make iPro illegal. I'm going to make that a regulated. Like that's effectively the same thing.
So it's a misunderstanding born out of 007 spy movies, those types of. So we're trying to fight the awareness that it's not silent, it's suppressed.
It's less loud.
It's less loud, right? So you take some legislators out. I would encourage everybody, educate your legislators. It's a bit of a jiu-jitsu move.
Sure,
instead of squaring
100%.
up on them and saying you're wrong, they dig in and say, no, I'm right. And I look at it as the best way is just to educate and have them understand what the repercussions are, what the benefits are.
Yeah.
And usually you start to win. It takes time, but start to win over some of these battles.
Yeah, I think one of the last things, and I want to give you an opportunity to myth bust here. So there was whispers. We're in a very unique position in the industry that I get to talk to everybody. I'm in a very unique place in the forums that whatever the manufacturer or warehouse or whatever, everyone collectively, however, has taught me what the word nitrocellulose meant.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this like weird, like it's like a dirty word that nobody wants to say. My understanding of it is there's less of it. And that this is effectively a component for how you make gunpowder effectively.
Well,
can you dispel this?
Yeah.
Or at least let me get a little bit more ahead of the curve on what I need to be purchasing?
So right now, so if it goes bang, it requires nitrogen and nitrocellulose and a couple of other components to make powder. There's one major supplier of gunpowder, the St. Mark down in Florida.
Wow.
And it's owned by General Dynamics. So when you have, and we're a country that's helping our NATO partners because they don't have the production capabilities to produce gunpowder like we do at St. Mark's. And they've got a plant up in Canada as well. And there's smaller ones, but they don't have the capacity to make the powder that our Army and our NATO partners are using right now. So
Yeah.
when you have 90,000 155 shells, which is about 12 pounds of powder
Yeah.
going off a day
God. Yeah.
over in the Russian conflict area, that's just our side.
Yeah.
And then you have the conflict in Israel. Anything that goes bang requires nitrocellulose, and it's a very tight supply chain. So we've got some major companies now are saying, I can't supply the military and the civilian marketplace.
Yeah.
So there's some truth in that. There is a big concern from manufacturers of ammunition
Yeah.
that they may not be able to make a full run or a growth trajectory because of a constraint of that raw resource called black powder or gunpowder, because there's a constraint on nitrocellulose and there's a constraint on the production capabilities.
Yeah, I had a lot of people that were confused because they would sit there and they would see maybe the analogy. We shared a thing where it was like, hey, this 155 shell
Yep.
is equal to like 20,000 or whatever 556.
Oh, it's huge.
It's not necessarily that the powders are the same, but it's the components are identical.
It's
like
the
you said.
components, right?
I'm glad
So
that you cleared that
when
up.
when that gets sucked up, it's not being put in not being put in 223 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's
you can have the brass, you can have the projectiles, but if they ain't no powder, it doesn't
there's
matter.
no charge, there's nothing, right?
Yeah, that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
I thank you, I guess, tentatively for
Well,
dispelling that.
yeah.
I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse about it.
Yeah, it's hard to ramp one of those plants up as well. I mean, it's years.
Sure.
So there's a stay on some of the civilian use
can see
of
that.
powder because our supplies as a country are down
Yeah.
for our military use, and our military partners are down as well. So we've got to replenish all that.
Yep.
So it's like, God, I don't want to have a panic,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
would
going to be scarce.
I would be interested to see. I'm glad, and y'all would know before we would, right?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you guys are already starting to make those considerations and say,
Yeah.
hey, well, let's be tactical about this. Let's be smart. If people want to buy in bulk, sure, we can facilitate that now. Just like, buy it now, because if you're going to buy it in a year, this might be a very different discussion.
Well, so
then.
there's something else that happens. There's also a price increase as well.
Yep,
When
yep,
you get
that's what I mean.
scarce, the powder companies is if we're going to be buying it on the civilian side, price is going up because they've got to produce for the military. So we're faced with, I would say maybe in 08, it got pretty scarce. So something along those lines, and we see the trends and.
So, and
like
like I said, like all things, I think it will be a trend. That's kind of been generally the consensus. I'm glad you were able to dispel a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You're in a unique position too, but I think at the very least, we can at least anticipate it and brace for that. And either you adjust and dry fire a bit more, you should be doing it more anyways. But I appreciate you taking the time. I don't want to waste too much of your time.
Sure,
Thank
buddy.
you for answering the kinds of questions we had from the internet.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I'll probably see you at the next SHOT Show or something like that.
Keep the questions coming.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next booth.